Is that car, when will he be coming, that Dirk car?
The truck driver was actually here this morning. They were going to load the bike and take it back to Joburg for assessment.
Yeah, but when is it that Dirk coming here? So I haven't even been to the bike yet.
Dirk should be down next week.
Yeah, but what day next week?
He hasn't indicated.
Have you let them know what happened?
Yes, I have.
And they got my phone number and everything. And the thing is, they haven't, none of Big Boy or anybody's people even phoned me to find out that my son is or nothing. They just don't give a fuck.
Explain anything to them when I've done on the bike. That wheel bearings that have collapsed, the engine mounting bolts that came out, I've explained everything to them.
Because even like the minor little things, like when the bike was 2 days old, just fell over and the brake levers fucking broke off. Okay, that you said, oh well, it's Chinese makes. But I mean, you know, then you got a price for me, it's about 600 rand for the thing with that. And then you must say to me, I can get it there by motorcycle maker. You must put that on. That's the first thing, but I took that as just as levers. But I mean, 2 days and the bike just drops over and nothing breaks. Okay, shit like that can happen, but you know, they haven't phoned, they haven't contacted me or there was nothing. And you got all my information, you got all the things.
No, I've got everything on my phone. I've always saved on my phone. And I understand where you're coming from, I really do. But like I said, the driver was here this morning because he dropped.
Yeah, but you see, for the driver to take that bike must check over here. I want to be here when that bike is checked. I want to be when they are checking the bike, because I'm going to check that was the material that bike is made out of. I'm not a fucking monkey of the street. I'm in fucking mechanical engineering. I'm not an idiot.
I fully understand that.
You know, and I'm sure that I've got more.
No, I'm pretty sure you.
So I'm not an idiot that is going to cover up shit for me. I'm not that type of person.
I understand. I mean, in fact, Dirk was on the phone to me.
I don't use phone to find out how's he doing, what's happening, or what's going on. Nothing. They just worry what's going to happen to my business. Now what's going to happen to them now? It's bullshit. As I said, every time a bike falls, I brought it to you, reported it to you, told you about it. Go into bearing man, tell them I want the best bearings that is used on motorbikes, which is Timken, they said. I came to you, I told you I bought the Timken bearings, put them in.
Timken, SKF.
Yeah, but I mean, I said to them, I don't want this bearing is in here. I only had the outer ring to show them, they asked where's the other bearing so they can see what it is. It disintegrated. I mean, and then like the spokes, when the spokes I took also, you know, I've always considered things that rattle loose and things like that. When the spokes were loose and they tore the tube up.
Now, did you manage to get a tube?
No, that was the bike was only a month, 3 weeks old.
Yeah, because I finally, there is a force.
Yeah, I think, I found you for a tube that time. That was months ago.
Yeah, because I finally got a tube from my supplier.
Yeah.
So I was literally, no jokes, I was going to give it to you for free.
Yeah, no, that was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But then the spokes were loose. That tore was a tube. Because I got a tube from Suzuki. I think you found motorcycle maker and then
Yeah, they didn't have
Suzuki had a tube and then I bought the tube, I put the tube in and it just punctured.
Yeah,
I thought, well, I punch this tube now, what? And I bought another tube. And I said to them, okay, rather you guys put it in. And then I said to me, they can't, these spokes are loose. These spokes is gripping I didn't check the spokes now. I just left the wheel behind. So then I had that done, had the spokes done, and they fitted the wheels and tube. That was...
Yeah, because normally what happens with those things, you tighten your spokes up so your wheel runs true.
Yeah.
You then flatten it with a file, then you've got a thing that goes over it to protect the tube.
Yeah, and that wasn't even in it. The guy asked me, but there's like a inner strap that should be on the thing. It wasn't even in the thing.
Okay, now what I've been doing, because I've noticed with a lot of my bikes, you know, my spoke bikes that come in, they don't have them. So one of these I buy heavy insulation tape.
Yeah.
And I wrap that around.
Yeah, that's what I said to the guy. He said, now you put in a He put in not even a wrap tape around with a
Yes,
thick
yeah.
black,
Almost more of a duct tape.
almost like duct tape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did it. I never even attempted it myself. They did it, so they got the wheel going.
Yeah,
And then, you know the Kickstarter,
Yeah.
the metal where it hooks onto where you kickstart it, it's totally worn away. It's worn away just from him kicking starting it. The only, the inside, the outside circlip that holds the kickstart on, that came off. And that whole thing is worn away. That I actually drilled a hole into the little holder there to put a bolt and a washer just to hold it. There was a kickstarter there. So I also took it that as just as wear, but I mean that is now then the bike was maybe. This is problems every month, and I said
Gentlemen, please switch it off.
he only rides it on Saturdays with me. He said
No, I hear you. No, I hear you.
and then when that other bolt was loose, that's when you were off sick that closed or whatever that 4 weeks.
Yes, yeah.
And because okay, then I brought the bike back when the engine fell out.
Yeah.
And I said to go through everything, make sure everything is right.
Yeah, which was done.
And then I rode with him once, a short ride through the bush with it, and then straight after that, that's what happened. Now, let me show you. You have a bike like that outside you.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And this one's just arrived for that.
First of all, all these nuts,
Yes.
that three and that three, you pull them out the hand, the thread is on the nut. This handlebars, if you move it 50 miles like this, the whole inside of here has collapsed, something has collapsed.
Yeah, I see.
That's as far as I was concerned.
These are all the things that we need to assess and find out what happened.
Because that's now what I've seen, I haven't been much of standing the record on. The first
No.
day, these covers broke off.
Yes.
The second day, the gear lever and the Kickstarter came off. But that was things that I thought was loose. Then about 3 weeks, or maybe a month. While he was riding the whole bike, just slammed on brakes. The back bearing disintegrated.
No, okay. I mean, I can verify it because I know you bought the new bearing.
Yeah.
And as for the engine mounting bolts,
And the most serious part is when that fucking bolts over there, the whole engine dropped out.
yeah.
Then I said, no, fucking, this is getting down the safety tank.
No, like I said, that I can verify because that was replaced by me.
Yeah.
And you know, all of that has been,
These bolts, there is complete, two of them wasn't out.
Yeah.
These you pull them out with your hand. They are loose, you turn them by hand. There's no more thread there. This handlebars went that way and he couldn't get the brake, he couldn't slam on brakes. And with him panicking, he couldn't, that's when he went underneath
that's what I
underneath
said,
was
you
the
know,
table.
as soon as we can get the bike in,
Yeah.
then we can do a full assessment.
Like the thing is, like I say, I'm running so around, my work is fucking going behind, I'm not getting to it, we're battling to get into him at the hospital.
No, I fully understand.
Critical condition in there is,
I mean, if I had a buggy, I would have loaded the bike myself and brought it in.
yeah, as I said, they could have, from there in the office, they said, like I say, the truck was here, they could have said, load the bike. Why didn't they phone me and say, there's a truck, where's your place, we want to come and get this bike? They should fly a technician down here. It's not my responsibility. So I'm running around now with my son. I haven't even, the bikes are standing by this workshop. It's right across the road from me.
Yeah.
But I haven't got time to do my work and trying to get into the hospital and so on. He could have said, Dirk could have phoned me and said, look, I'm sending a truck down. We understand the situation and all this shit. You know, well, how's it going with you, chief?
I'll send it to you via WhatsApp now.
Yeah.
And then, feel free to contact
To sell that to another job. It's beyond me that they can do that. Because I will never sell that bike to somebody knowing that fucking broke my son's leg.
Okay, Randy, I've sent you Big Boy's telephone number via WhatsApp, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I myself got photos and shit like that, and I've taken
I'm fully aware.
and my own assessment and private assessment and everything on this bike, and but all the other problems like the engine falling out, the fucking bearings collapsing, That all must be mentioned to them.
I mean, the bearings collapsing, I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, but that must be mentioned, that you know about it. I brought it to you, you know.
We've spoken quite a bit on the phone telephonically between myself and Dirk.
Yeah.
He's fully aware of the fact that the wheel bearings collapsed, okay?
Right.
He's fully aware of the fact that the engine mounting bolts came out, okay?
Yeah.
We replaced new engine mounting bolts. We then put Loctite before we put them back, okay? Now, I mean, the engine side of it, whatever, that rear end section, that's all assembled by the factory, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, my guys will probably just grab a scan and just check, make sure that it's tight, okay?
Yeah. Well, look, they must, yeah, it must be, everything must be fucking talked on the boat.
Yeah, you know, we don't go and strip down every engine mounting bolt and put Loctite and reassemble and what, because then a PDI would take us 6 hours, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is, you see, by law, that must be done.
Yeah, but
The law says any assembly of any motor vehicle, needs a certificate of assembly.
yeah, but that's what I say. When my guys go through on a PDI,
Yeah.
they make sure the engine mounting bolts are tight.
Yeah, but what you're saying now, you know, you can't spend 6 hours on a bike to assemble it. By law, that thing must be assembled by a qualified person and have a certification of assembly. It has to be assembled properly, especially when it gets to a child's bike. An adult, I can say, you taking the bike, it's your risk, you're the adult, it's your decision, but a child hasn't got that decision.
Yeah, no, look, I hear exactly what you're saying. And like I said, the biggest...
And I can guarantee you now, if I take an L&K and I touch on this new bike you got standing out here now, those bolts will be stripped.
Well, you see, I didn't assemble that bike.
But if you say to me, no, you don't believe me, give me L&K and I'll show you those bolts are stripped.
No, I'm not going to argue with you.
And you are going to sell that bike to a customer without informing him about all his faults.
No, like I said, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying to you. You as you said now, you're not going to, the same as what happened to that bike.
Basically, that bike was dropped off here this morning,
Assembled, yeah.
So between me and my chap, we haven't even touched the bike to go through the bike,
Yeah.
make sure everything's tight, whatever. We haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, but that's what I mean now. That's, you see now,
I've been in it.
because I don't say it's your fault, but you should check it over there and I can show you where the fault's going to be, and then you're going to say you're going to send this bike back. You can't give it to a customer like this.
No, I hear
And I can guarantee you that's got the same bolts in there that bike that I've got in.
Yeah, well, they're all produced by the same guy.
Yeah, and I can show you that that's inferior metal or something is wrong there, that bolt is going to be stripped.
Yeah, that's what I said. These are all things that...
Yeah, and I can guarantee them it's probably got the same bearings in the back wheels in the front. Same thing like
I
that.
don't see any reason why I wouldn't do that, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say all these faults that I'm mentioning are still on these bikes and they are not being addressed. If like Dirk should have phoned in, they should be addressing these problems that's happening.
Yeah, because what they've done is they've gone back through their records, because I sold lots of these bikes. Obviously they're getting sold countrywide, okay?
Yeah.
And they're actually assessing, you know.
But you see what is actually happening, maybe something like that is happening, but nobody has got seriously injured on the bike yet.
Yeah, you see, there is a possibility. I'm not saying this is hard and fact, don't quote me on it. But let's say 1,000 bikes come in.
That one is a dud, yeah.
It's a defect unit.
Yeah, no, I understand all
There's a
that.
possibility that you may have gotten a defect.
Yeah, but I understand it, but that's what I'm saying to you now. I can take an L&K now in my hand and I can show you the defects on that new bike standing out there. Without me being near to it, I'll show you where the defects are on that bike and I'll prove it that they are sub-quality defects on as the same thing's going to be on that bike.
No, I hear exactly what you're saying. I really.
And things that you can't tell a customer, a father, you mustn't check this, you mustn't check that, because he will check it and then it's, 6 months later he's going to check it and it's going to be stripped. It's going to be fucked, and then he's going to be sitting. Maybe nobody gets hurt in that case. So then you have to brush it off. Everybody says, it's a Chinese make, and like you even say, it's a Chinese make. What can we do about it? That's where the problem comes in.
The whole thing is see.
Remember when I bought the bike, you said, yeah, it's a Chinese brand, but it's a Honda motorbike. This. And I can't argue with you. The motor is strong. They had no shit with the motor. I put the oil in the motor, because I think they've even had oil. I put the oil in and I've never had shit with the motor. But everything around the motor, the framework, and they rate that thing, it can take 120 kilos.
That's right.
My son weighs about 42 kilos. And the fucking frame breaks.
Yeah, that's what I said. So, you know, I can sit here, I can talk myself into so much business. But at the end of the day, once we get the bike in, so we can make it.
Yeah, but as I said, it's only been, this is the first week now. I'll just stop and never phone me back. So I thought I'll stop and come and find out what's
sure exactly when he's coming down.
What's the exact date?
Once he phones me to say, Billy, I'm going to be here on Wednesday, say next week for argument's sake. Then I will phone me and say, listen, he is on his way, he's going to be here on that day.
Yeah.
But until such time as he confirms.
But so he cancelled his plans after you, when you phoned him and told him about all this problem, then all of a sudden he wasn't coming to the company. What is it? SA Motorcycles?
SA Motorcycles, yeah.
But are they just Big Boy? How do they get named SA Motorcycles?
Well,
so where does Big Boy fall into it then?
Well, Big Boy is their brand that they sell.
They got falling under SA Motorcycles.
They fall under SA Motorcycles, yeah.
Now SA Motorcycles, they got other brands under the name as well.
Well, as far as I know, it's mostly Big Boy, Go Motor.
Because if you like say now SA Motorcycle, they are like a South African company.
Yes,
why wouldn't they be registered under Big Boy?
Well, Big Boy is our brand, okay? Our main brand is Big Boy.
No, that's just, you must send me through it.
That's why you see, even if you see my signs are basically Big Boy, and then my company name is under it in smaller, but Big Boy is our main name brand.
So it's SA Motorcycle.
Yeah. But like I said, I'll send you their telephone number. You know, feel free to contact them.
No, you haven't got a business card or something like this?
Unfortunately not, my business cards are finished, I'm waiting for new ones to
come. That would mean for there, can you write down the... Okay, but you just send me the phone number.
Yeah, I'll send the telephone number, you'll see on your WhatsApp, see it's under Big Boy.
Yeah. What they call it, public relations or what they... Karika. You think you write it down for me? It's Dirk who?
I've actually got no idea what the surname is.
Just write Dirk Director and Karika, she's the...
Any complaints or whatever, Karika's the one that deals with them. Well, I'm actually glad you didn't stop here this morning. The other place you're going to ask him, it's been like a train station in our here.
No, but you said there was some truck was there.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you say to the truck, hey man, let me phone this man, we can go and pick up the bike?
I didn't even think of it.
Okay, I would suspect that would be the first thing on your mind, that you should think, listen, I've got a problem here with this fucking bike, let's go and pick it up. Look, I expect them to come down and check this bike.
Yeah, well, that's why Dirk's keeps on contacting me. Have you received the bike yet? Have you received the bike yet? Dirk has been contacting me.
You can phone him and tell him, I'm sorting my son out first. Because it's a hell of a story, man. There was another, when we were there this morning to try to drop him off a call.
I'm playing as open cards as when I possibly can. Feel free to contact the guys and air your acceptance and whatever there.
Yeah.
You know, but until such time as I can get the motorcycle here, we can start.
No, as soon as, like I said, it's there by, it's just across the road by another workshop. You rode about twice, once with me, when I was checking it after you said you went through everything.
That's right, yes.
Now I ran slowly by, I was telling about me the bike, so I ran slowly behind him to check it, the wheels running straight, everything's running straight. And then it's the second time that he rode the bike, and I wasn't with him, my friend was there and his son, the two little ones are riding on the bike, and that's what that was. So as I say, I'll try to contact this, but let me know as soon as that man comes in.
I will, I promise you.
Let me know before the sun. I will be here. I'll get him at the airport. He doesn't have to worry.
No. They rent cars and stuff. Okay.
But just let me know what day he's getting here. Okay.